Nothing, baby. Let's go. That's the world now. That's the whole world.
Welcome to the Lone Star College Football Show. I'm your host, Chris Daly. Each episode, I will bring you news and information about college football in Texas, not just the FBS school, anyone who plays college football in the great state of Texas. I will do so by talking with the people making it happen on the gridiron, the head coaches, the staff, the players, but mostly the head coaches. Thank you for joining us. Today I have a guest that used to be a standout coach in Texas high school football. In fact, his last season in high school was a 16-0 state championship run with Argyle. This is Jason Bachtel, now with Howard Payne University. And we have to take a second to thank our title sponsor this year, Junior Smokehouse. Yeah, Junior Smokehouse, you can find at juniorsjerky.com. They have everything you can imagine. Pork and venison sausage, beef sausage, all kinds of great dried meats, jerkies, wonderful spices, rubs, you name it. In fact, you have to go check out the website just to figure it out. There's great gift boxes. And I have to tell you, if you want to guarantee that your gift is ready by Christmas, make sure you go online and place your order before December 13th. They get very busy sending out probably the most wonderful gift you can give somebody for Christmas. Some beef jerky, some dried sausage, some good manly food. That's Junior Smokehouse on Highway 59 in Texas between Wharton and El Campo. But, again, you can find all of it online at juniorsjerky.com. You can also reach owner Lane Tabola and his staff at 979-531-0888. You can order online, you can order on the phone, you can go by like I do. Luckily, I'm so close to it. And check out some of the amazing processed meats they have. Such good stuff. That's Junior's Texas Best Smokehouse. All right, everybody, join me in welcoming Coach Jason Bachtel from Howard Payne University to the show. Coach, how are things today?
Oh, they're going pretty well. Pretty busy week getting ready for George Fox, and we're excited about that matchup. But at the same time, we know they're, in my opinion, the top 25 team coming into Brownwood. So we've got a lot of work cut out for us.
Definitely. Well, let's talk about the last game. Texas Lutheran, big, heavy offensive scoring game. Landon McKinney, 496 yards passing. Talk about the offense.
Yeah, we went into the ball game not really knowing what to expect from those guys. So we kind of built an offensive plan that was for multiple fronts and multiple coverages, and And our kids did a good job of executing it really well, and obviously Landon had a great ball game. But I think a lot of what you see is also comes from our receivers playing really well, and also our offensive line protecting. And so, just it felt like everything that we tried to do, we hit on all cylinders, and it was a great first showing. And we had a lot of guys come back from last year's team that knew the offense, so it was a fun game offensively.
Nice. And talk about the defense. That giving up 45, that had to be concerning.
Yeah, there's parts of it that are, but Coach LaHue, in just his short time back, has already done a great job with those guys, and they had a good offensive game plan. And their kids executed as well. We do have some things we've got to correct. A lot of lining up properly and tackling and making plays, but we do feel like they are correctable mistakes, and we look forward to seeing what it looks like on Saturday night in our second ball game. I'm always a big believer that some of your biggest improvements come from game 1 to game 2. So we look forward to that and seeing what it's all about.
Yeah, definitely. How are y'all doing injury-wise?
We have been lucky so far that we have not had any major injuries. Obviously last Saturday was a physical ball game up front, so we've got some guys who were banged up and bruised, but nothing to be concerned about. So overall, we're pretty healthy.
Great. And talk about George Fox. What do you expect on their offense? What kind of defense they run?
Yeah, so George Fox is going to, they're big on both lines. I mean, they're massive. They're going to be bigger than we are. So we know that going in. But we feel like we may have a chance to be a little bit more athletic than they are. From an offensive standpoint, they want to be a run team with a lot of play action pass. Probably pass it a little more than what we expected this past Saturday. They played the Redlands and threw it a little more than what we expected they would. And then defensively, they're going to give us an odd box, give us multiple odd box fronts and a too high safety look. And they're well coached on both sides. And so we've got to be prepared that they're not going to beat themselves. That's, I think, what they do such a great job of, just watching them over the past couple of years, is they're not going to beat themselves. They're going to play disciplined football. And we have to take advantage of some things that they do, but at the same time, we've also got to play that same disciplined style of football in order to come out with a victory on Saturday.
Right on. A lot of coaches will have a weekly theme that they focus on with the kids. Do you do a weekly thing, or is it just always the same thing?
Really ours is just playing within ourselves. And that's something that we've always talked about since the day that I've gotten here. We don't talk about wins and losses. We don't mention it inside of our building. We just believe that if we take care of ourselves and we take care of the job that we're supposed to do, then the results will take care of themselves. And 9 times out of 10, the days where we don't do our job, those are where you look up and you're on the wrong end of the scoreboard. So we don't necessarily have a theme, but we just have a take care of your job and take care of ourselves inside of our 4 walls.
Nice. And looking ahead, what do you expect out of the conference?
Well, I believe we play in the best conference in the nation. And you got 2 in the top 10, and both of them deserve to be there. Mayor Hardin-Baylor has reloaded, and they're legit. Coach Harmon gets to follow in Coach Fredenberg's footsteps. But, Larry's been there for so long that the Crusader way is just going to be done no matter what. So, they're going to be every bit that they're billed to be. And then Hardin-Simmons, I think being back in the league, this is probably going to be the best Hardin-Simmons team that I've seen in quite some time. They've got some really good football players. Quarterback change, but watching Galen Glenn the other day, he picked up and did everything that those guys did last year, and so they're going to be good. And then they're loaded up front on defense. Just defensively, they are just loaded. So I think those 2 are the top 2, and they deserve to be. And then I think it's the rest of us, all the way across the board that we're fighting for 3rd, 4th, 5th, the middle of the pack. And we're trying to find a way to get up into the top 2 and beat one of those 2. But right now, I think they're so far ahead of everybody in the conference that everybody still has a few years before we really truly catch them.
Right. And how does recruiting play into that? How do you get to that next level?
Well, I think recruiting is key. I think retention's a bigger issue.
Yeah.
When you look at those 2 guys, and I keep, because we're so close to Abilene, Hardin-Simmons has 40 seniors this year. And when you have guys who are being retained and they want to come back into your program, and you keep a large portion of that team, they're able to uphold the standard that you want set, and the standard never changes. And you're not having to play a conference football game with 18 and 19-year-olds versus 22 and 23, 24-year-olds. I think for so long, that's when you look at Howard Payne, over the last 10 years, the retention here has not been just great. And so you've always had to start over from season to season to season, and you look up at the end of the season and you're playing with 18-year-olds. And it's just not a fair fight. And so recruiting's huge, but retention's bigger.
Definitely. Well, Coach Bachtel, I want to thank you so much for sharing a little bit with me, and best of luck against George Fox this week.
Hey, thank you. Sting them.
All right, take care.
This podcast is certified fresh. FreshMediaWorks.com.
As always, I want to thank Junior Smokehouse, without whom this show would not be possible. If you get a chance, check out juniorsjerky.com. They have everything, and I mean it. If you like some good smoked meats, brisket, spiced rubs, you name it, they have so many great things. Some sausage flavors they have are out of this world. I love it, and I'm particularly a fan of the dried sausage, which they have a lot of great stuff there too. Check them out, juniorsjerky.com. And if you're in the area, they're on Highway 59 between Wharton and El Campo. Well worth a stop. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. I want to thank you for being a fan of college football in the Lone Star State. Until next time, I'm your host, Chris Daly, wishing you a great week and victory for your team.